All right. So did you listen to the first episode?
Yes,
What do you think? What's your review?
I like it.
That's it? That's all you got?
I really like it.
Any specific comments?
No.
Don't change anything?
Mm-mm.
All right. So now episode 4 is coming out at the end of October. And what happens at the end of October?
Halloween.
Yeah. So you know what we got to do, right?
No.
We got to do a Bob Ross Halloween episode.
Okay.
Would you like to be part of the Bob Ross Halloween episode?
Yes.
What are you going dressed as for Halloween this year?
Meowscles. It's my favorite character.
Who?
Meowscles.
Meowscles?
Yes.
Who's that?
It's a cat with muscles.
Oh, I get it. Meowscles.
Yes.
All right. How come you're not going as Bob Ross?
Actually, last year, my neighbor Kelsey went as Bob Ross.
You'd look good in a Bob Ross costume. The little wig. We'll put some paintbrushes in your shirt pocket. No? Meowscles. It's kind of a bummer that there was never a Joy of Painting Halloween episode. Bob, dressed like Bela Lugosi, painting a happy little cemetery, introducing us to his pet spider, Webby. And Halloween is all about colors. Witch black, blood red, jack-o'-lantern orange, dark browns and slimy greens. What color should we use for your Halloween episode, Bob?
Little of the sap green, crimson, any old dark color you got. Any old dark color. Okay, mix them up a little bit. Let me clean off my knife here.
And he brought a knife. Good to see you're getting into the spirit of things.
You getting excited yet?
It's the joy of Bob. It's the joy of Bob Ross podcast. Happy little stories about Bob.
Now, let's really have some fun.
Come on, let's talk Bob.
Let's get crazy.
On the Joy of Bob Ross podcast, finding out why Bob's so great's my job.
Let's have a happy little tree right in here.
He was a happy painter. His art inspired us all. We're gonna climb atop majestic mountains, swim under wonderful waterfalls. The joy, the joy, the joy, the joy.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, wow, look at this crowd. Look at this crowd. Woo, yeah. All right, yeah. All right. We got a few spooky Bob Ross stories to tell in this episode, so let's not bury the lead. Get it, Bob? Bury the lead.
Nice one there.
We want to bring out a surprise special guest to help us celebrate the season. What do you think, Bob? Should we bring him out?
Totally up to you. You make the decision.
All right, here he is. He's handsome. He's debonair. He's got a huge following both on and off social media. He's very popular year-round, but especially this time of year. Please welcome to the podcast, the Prince of Darkness, Beelzebub, Mephistopheles. He's a legend. He's extremely evil. Give a warm Halloween welcome to the Devil!
Thank you so much, Ron. And thank you, sinners. Let me say, what an honor it is to be here with you all to celebrate the joy of Bob Ross this October. I used to watch Bob when I was little, on TV. It was very inspiring to me as an imp. It made me want to become an artist. I've got to say, considering my reputation and all, I was pretty surprised to be asked here to honor Bob tonight. So I'd just like to...
Just beat the devil out of it.
Hey! Bob, didn't you just hear what I told everyone? I was telling...
And just beat the devil out of it.
Bob! Cut it out, bro! What is this, the Oscars? This is highly unprofessional.
Actually, I just like to get even with the cameraman because he gives me a hard time.
Did you guys just bring me here so Bob can beat his brush again?
And just beat the devil out of it.
Oh, okay. I get it. Wow. Well, this. I'm Satan. You're lucky I'm late for brunch with Jimmy Fallon. Otherwise, I'd burn this podcast to the ground. Anyway, I'm out. I'll see you soon, Ron, if you know what I mean. Beat the devil out of him. Hilarious, guys. You got me.
The second segment is going to be about one of the spookiest birds in the world.
Crows?
Nope.
Peacocks?
Nope.
Flamingos?
Spooky bird. Halloween bird. It's also a bird that was featured on one of Bob Ross's Joy of Painting episodes.
Oh, a flying squirrel.
Good guess. But that is not a bird.
A blue jay.
You love birds.
A cardinal.
You can't get this? Are you
Robin?
You're messing with me now. Night bird.
Owl.
Yeah! If you were walking on a path in the dark woods, all you can hear is the sounds of your feet on the path, right? And it's Halloween time, so all you hear is that crunchy sound of the leaves, right? And there's nobody around, and it's dark, and there's only the moonlight and a couple of stars up there, and all of a sudden you hear, ooh, ooh,
Ooh.
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 You scared?
Yeah.
And you're hooing back at me. You're not gonna hoo back at the owl. You're gonna be quaking in your boots.
No, I'm gonna hoo back.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You know they have these huge talons, owls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you scared?
No. I would just get a butterfly net and catch it.
A butterfly net? You're gonna catch an owl in a butterfly net? All right. Good luck with that.
What other net am I gonna use?
Here's what I learned about the owl. They're nocturnal creatures, so at night they just swoop down, pick a little rabbit up off the ground, and then they eat it. Now are you scared?
If I was a rabbit, I would be scared. I'm a little scared.
You're gonna be scared when you hear it. You better be ready. You're gonna be under the blankets with a flashlight, looking for owls late at night. Like, where's the owl? Where's the owl?
I am so fascinated with these little creatures, and I hope you are too, because I like to show them to you.
In 1989, on episode 2 of season 16 of The Joy of Painting, Bob Ross opened his show with a very unusual guest.
Beautiful little bird. Yeah. You going to talk a little bit? I brought my little friend Hoot on one more time so you could see him. We've got so many cards and people have called asking about him. I just wanted to show him again. He's a little baby owl, and he's one of the cutest little devils. See if we can get him to put his wings out here. Look at there. Isn't he beautiful?
Hoot the baby owl sits in Bob's right hand. He looks like a plush doll, like a Furby. Remember the Furby?
What's that? Me up! It's my Furby. Furby loves you lavender. Tickle me.
Soon after introducing Hoot to the TV audience, Bob begins to pet him and makes an immediate connection.
This is my little friend Hoot, and Hoot's a little baby owl, and he is a character. He's about 3 weeks old now, and very, very cute. Yeah, you gonna talk a little bit? He really is a beauty.
Of all the creatures Bob could have brought into the studio, why an owl? Why Hoot? Maybe it's because they had something in common.
Him and I have the same hairdresser. We both got the fuzz top up here.
But owls are spooky, no? Nocturnal creatures, skilled hunters, predators.
Now this son of a gun has some talons on him that's just unreal. Even at his age, they must be a half an inch long, and he will get you. not on purpose, but that's just what happens.
Hoot would show up again on The Joy of Painting 2 episodes later. His cameo on Bob's show intrigues me. So since I don't live in the forest, I head to the nearest place I know I can find an owl.
Welcome to the Nashville Zoo, home to over 350 different animal species and the countless families who travel from near and far every day.
To come face to face with some of the world's rarest, most dangerous, and sometimes most beautifully strange creatures.
To reconnect with nature and take a walk with some new friends.
My name is Stephanie White, and I'm supervisor of the Behavioral Husbandry Show Department. And I have Archimedes, our Eurasian eagle owl, with me today.
Archimedes is an Eurasian eagle owl. Classic, spooky Halloween owl. From the moment he appears, perched majestically on Stephanie White's gloved hand, Archimedes is staring me down. And what happens next? We are at the Nashville Zoo. Whoa, Archimedes. Jeez.
That's what I was looking for.
For a brief moment, Archimedes loses his cool, his massive wings aflutter, throwing shade my way. Is that a natural...
Do you want to start over, or do we need...
No, I like that. That's a natural moment. Is that a natural reaction by Archimedes during these interviews?
Yes, owls are naturally a little shy, so he's never seen a big fuzzy microphone before, and he's just not sure what to think about that. But really, it looks like he's got his eye on you.
That's not making me feel more comfortable. But comfortable or not, I'm not going anywhere. If Bob Ross can hold a baby owl on television, then damn it, Ron Scalzo can interview an owl for this podcast.
Let me show you one of my little creatures.
Archimedes is 20 now, and he's been with our department his entire life and been around people and practically a human himself.
The human Archimedes was a physicist in ancient Greece. He loved math and astronomy. The owl Archimedes loves intimidating podcast hosts and eating mice.
I would say that's his favorite. He also gets chick and rat, quail sometimes. Would you like to see him eat some of his prey today?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I brought with me a mouse so you can see owls usually, if it's small enough, they will just swallow it whole. And since he's a pretty large guy, he could eat a pretty large mouse or a mole. Hi, did I surprise you? We'll see if you want to eat today. You want to eat that? Or he might just hold it and show it off for you.
Now, I did not expect to watch Archimedes have lunch. And instead of gobbling it down, he just holds it in his mouth, clearly showing off. A dead mouse tail dangling like soon-to-be slurped spaghetti. And all the while, Archimedes continues to stare me down.
Are you jealous?
I'm slightly mortified. But an owl's gotta eat. One thing Baby Hoot and Archimedes have in common, they both have a cool origin story. Archimedes came to the Nashville Zoo when he was only 5 weeks old. Stephanie's boss raised him from just a little chick to the 5.5-pound champion he is today. He once performed in the zoo's aerial shows. Like Hoot, he had his moment under the hot lights and in front of a large audience.
And now that he's 20, he's decided, I'm going to retire from the shows, but he still loves to do these kind of programs. He loves to go out to our events, and you might see him along our pathway if you come visit the zoo.
At the zoo, the keepers typically name the animals. I can only assume that Archimedes was named after the owl in Disney's animated Sword in the Stone.
If man were meant to fly, he'd have been born with wings. I am about to prove otherwise, Archimedes, if you care to watch.
And as for those strong talons Bob was talking about,
they are really big and sharp. I'm wearing a really thick glove right now to protect myself from the amount of pressure that he can use on my glove. He could puncture through this if he really were to grip tightly.
Bob, of course, has no glove when handling Hoot, and he's in a confined space. And, for a moment, he's bobbing it up and down, so it'll do something cool on his TV show like spread its wings. Bob Ross is not just a happy painter, he's also a brave man. A daredevil.
This guy can catch rabbits and been known to catch foxes and even baby roe deer in the wild, which I think is just incredible.
Simply put, Bob Ross is lucky he didn't get eaten. I know, it's a stretch. But hey, it's our Halloween episode. I asked Stephanie if Bob's connection to birds was special. It seems to me that you have to be a certain type of personality to hang with an owl on TV, even if just for a few minutes.
It does take some time to build a relationship with birds because they are naturally shy animals. So we spend lots of time with an animal before I ever ask it to come to my glove or come near my hands. And so it's a process, and you just have to have a lot of patience.
So maybe Bob and Hoot were buddies before he invited him on the joy of painting. Maybe they hung out together in Bob's backyard with Peapod the squirrel, playing Trivial Pursuit, the Wildlife Edition, eating peanuts and gourmet mouse. Either way, I'm not going in for a hug. But I see that my old owl friend is getting hot and ready to take his shade elsewhere. Is Archimedes panting right now?
He is. It's getting kind of hot. They don't have sweat glands, so they have to pant like a dog does through their mouths.
Well, I think that's our cue, Archimedes. We appreciate the time that you've given us. Do you have anything to say, Archimedes, before we sign it off? Stephanie reaches into her pouch for another treat for Archimedes. He holds it in his mouth, stares at me. This wasn't a question I was planning to ask, but the whole idea of you just kind of like carrying around like little dead animals.
Yeah.
You watch the nature documentaries and David Attenborough's, how he eats the mice, and you just see exactly this like on a television screen, but to see it actually happening in person is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, as a keeper, you work with all kinds of really nasty stuff, and yeah, we're working with mice and rats and all kinds of bloody things, but that's what they eat. They're carnivores. Oh, look.
And then, while perched on Stephanie White's arm, with a dead animal dangling beneath his beak, Archimedes finds the perfect way to say goodbye. By pooping.
Oh, that was nice too. That was a really great ending for this.
This is Ron Scalzo signing off from the Nashville Zoo. Thank you, Archimedes. Thank you, Stephanie.
You're very welcome. Oh my gosh, that's so typical of the video.
From all of us here, and from old Hoot, I'd like to wish you happy painting, and God bless.
The last segment is about climbing a steep, treacherous, scary Halloween mountain.
Well, I was scary about it.
Are you scared of heights?
Yes.
So wouldn't you be scared if you were on top of a steep, tall mountain?
If I was on top, then yes. And if I was climbing up, yes.
Well, that's what we're going to do on the podcast.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to climb up a mountain.
But that's what we're going to do. You don't have to be involved. I just want your take on, is it going to be scary?
Yes. What you should do is, you should have a cave on the mountain and there's a monster in the cave.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
And the monster eats you.
But how am I going to do the next podcast episode if I get eaten?
It poops you out.
Mountains. Elevated chunks of the Earth's crust. Thrill seekers love them. Snowboarders, too. The world's tallest mountain is Mount Everest, 29,000 feet above sea level. That's roughly 5,000 Bob Rosses, standing on each other's shoulders, all the way up to the sky.
I thought today we'd do a painting that has some nice mountains in it. That's still the number one most requested thing that I get letters about is people wanting to do mountains and the fact that they're having some problems with them. So I thought we'd devote this show to some beautiful mountains and we'll work on those.
On a mountain, you might encounter snow leopards, condors, wild dogs, trolls, the Grinch. There are extreme temperatures on mountains, monstrous boulders, awe-inspiring avalanches. And so, as you can imagine, mountains are hard to climb. And maybe even harder to paint? So we can't do it alone. We need a brave soul, someone with intestinal fortitude, determination, someone cool under pressure. We need...
My name is Ted Simpson, certified Bob Ross instructor.
Once Ted was just an ordinary man. And then...
I went ahead and quit my corporate job last month, and this is all I do now.
Ted worked in the pharmaceutical industry. Big pharma. Now he's a full-time CRI. Surely a man who'd risk the financial security of a day job to spread the joy of painting is braver than us all. But how did Ted begin this journey?
Father's Day, my wife got me the Bob Ross Master Kit. I've mentioned it a time or two that I would like to finally try Bob's method of painting after watching him growing up. And always just knowing about Bob. Whenever you're flipping through the channel, if he's on, you gotta watch. You gotta see where the episode's going, because it's only less than 26, 27 minutes. So you always got time to watch Bob finish his painting. I started doing that, and when she finally got me the master kit, I made my first painting.
Grandeur of Summer.
Tell you what, let's make a happy little sky. And for that, I'm gonna go right into a touch of phthalo blue.
Grandeur of Summer isn't an episode of The Joy of Painting. It's an hour-long instructional video hosted by Bob. Double the Bob, double the fun.
Think of this tape as a private lesson in my studio, and I've reserved this front row seat just for you.
And at the center of that particular painting, a mountain. After painting his first mountain, Ted ultimately realized that he wanted more.
And it just led me to want to teach other people how to do this. I struggled so much when I first started, just pausing videos. And I wanted to make sure that people's first paintings go a lot easier than mine did.
And now that he was picking up a paintbrush himself, Ted had a new appreciation for Bob Ross.
He definitely inspired me to continue with art, and then when I rediscovered him, it was just life-changing.
Ted followed through. He became a CRI in 2017. He says he's done over 1,000 paintings since then, maybe 2,000. And now, he's ready to strut his stuff. Ted Simpson is our mountain painting Sherpa, as we attempt to scale the scary summits of Majestic Peaks. As I brace myself for a long, treacherous climb to the top, Ted Simpson takes his first crucial step.
We're gonna jump right in, and sometimes, oops, there was my happy accident. I almost moved forward there.
Every moment on a mountain can be tense, heart racing, adrenaline pumping. One movement in the wrong direction can lead to disaster. Be careful, Ted, and don't look down. Did I mention that I'm afraid of heights?
The whole idea is to not think about it so much. When Bob says no pressure, he's talking about physically pushing the knife, but also mentally. Just relax. Don't think about it. Keep the pressure off of yourself. And all I want to do is feel that paint touch and let it come off.
Seems simple enough. But a lot of the mountains I've seen Bob paint are vast. They sometimes cover the width of the canvas. I tell Ted this. And does he back down? No. Instead, he feels emboldened.
We want majestic peaks, plural. By God, we'll put them in.
When it comes to mountains, it's all in the knife, Bob says.
And once you make friends with this knife, it's unreal what you can do with it.
First, Ted uses his knife to put in his peaks. Then, Ted blows my mind. Because the thing about painting a mountain like Bob Ross is this. You start from the peaks, from the top.
We go the opposite direction, and that's what makes it look three-dimensional. Little rolls of color.
Well, that's not very scary, is it? That's not how life works. Little rolls of color sounds kind of cute, kind of beautiful. Ted's majestic peaks are in. He pulls out a brush and works his way down, creating some majestic mountain mist.
I've got the mountain basically in, and all I do here is just soften the bottom of it. And just lightly tapping, Bob calls it destroying, but we just tap to create this little bit of soft stuff at the bottom. Do that a few times, sweep it up to take out the tap marks, and that mountain should look like it's floating right down in the sky there.
And since it's only with the proper drugs that one can see a mountain floating in the sky, this majestic mountain needs its base.
Bob likes to just cut in. It's like sawing here, and just put in a little bright line at the bottom. Just so that we can see the water kind of lapping up there.
Ted adds some titanium white snow to the peaks. angling down, and of course, applying no pressure.
If you apply a lot of pressure, you're going to end up with paint here that looks like you've iced a cake.
But what about those colors that provide the shadows and happy little highlights that every mountain needs?
You can vary these colors any way you want them to make mountains the way that you see them.
How do we know what we're mixing? And in what order?
Bob's golden rule. This is another instance here where Bob simplifies things for you. There's a phrase there that artists use in oil painting. It's called fat over lean. Okay? It means if a paint has more fat in it, it's going to be runnier. Fat in this case is linseed oil. So a fat paint has a lot of linseed oil in it, which makes it runnier, which is easier to put on a layer that has less fat in it. That just sounds complicated as all heck, right? Bob just says a thin paint sticks to a thick paint. Everyone can understand that.
And because Bob and Ted make painting easy to understand, there are plenty of folks out there being brave with their brushes, making mountains and hills, rivers and streams, conquering their fears and their craft.
You can move mountains. You really can move mountains, at least on this canvas.
Like all CRIs, Ted believes that anyone can paint like Bob Ross, even if they've never picked up a brush. And like Bob, it's his calm demeanor and quiet confidence that help guide us through the process and give us the courage to try something new. Find out more about Ted and sign up for a lesson at naturesbrushstudio.com. Well, the old clock on the wall tells me that this Halloween episode is done. I want to thank my guests, Ted Simpson, Stephanie White, Anthony Salvatore DeMango, Archimedes the Owl, and a big shout out to Mallory Immel and the Nashville Zoo for showing me around. And of course, a big old Halloween Hershey's kiss to you, Bob Ross. Happy Halloween, Bob!
From all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting.
God bless, my friend. Oh, come on, Bob.
Remember to support your local public television station. Say thanks for giving us Bob Ross and the joy of painting. We want to see your paintings. Use hashtag #PaintLikeBobRoss. Bob Ross certified instructors are the only ones that know how to teach you Bob's world-famous painting method. Don't settle for second best. Find the local CRI at bobross.com and then click Take a Class. If you got your own Bob Ross story to tell, we want to hear it. Leave us a message at 866-FANBRUSH. Or email it to us at podcast@bobross.com. And follow all things Bob Ross on Instagram at BobRoss_The Joy of Painting. The Joy of Painting is produced by Lonely Weekend Productions in partnership with Bob Ross, Inc. Bob Ross name and images are registered trademarks of Bob Ross, Inc.